Welcome to Algebra 1, Saxon Algebra 1, 3rd edition. This is lesson 100, and it is on place value and on rounding numbers. Now, these are both things that you've already done. You may think, well, I've been doing that since elementary school, and you have. But it's more of a review, a refresher, and dealing with a little bit longer numbers and your decimals and stuff. So let's get down to it. Okay, I found a couple of examples of place value charts. This top one goes from ones to millions on the left-hand side, and then you've got the decimal point, and then you go from tenths to millionths. And notice that everything over here has a THS on the end, and these do not. And it's important that you remember too that there is no ones place on the decimal side. Tens on the whole number side is in the second spot from the decimal, but tenths is in the first spot from the decimal. All right, so these represent whole numbers, and these represent fractional parts or decimal parts. This chart I liked because it went a little bit further. It went to 100 billions, went the same amount in the decimals, but I want you to notice they are in categories of threes. So there's ones, tens, hundreds. Those are all purple. Then you move to thousands, 10,000s, and 100,000s. Then you move, we're going to change colors again. We're going to go to millions, and then we have the 1 millions, 10 millions, 100 millions. And then billions, we're going to be blue, and they go 1 billions, 10 billions, 100 billions. So it always follows this ones, tens, hundreds pattern that you have here on the left. On the right, you see that starts out like this dark yellow canary kind of color, and then continues to get lighter and lighter and lighter, and I think that's really representative of the fact that these are all still part of a whole number. They're part of whatever the whole was here, but they get increasingly smaller. Even though millionths sounds bigger than tenths, it's really not, and so this visual may help you to remember that. Second part of the lesson is on rounding numbers. I really like this little graphic. There's really 3 steps in rounding any number. This one says round this to the nearest thousandth. So what you're going to do is you're going to count in your decimal chart tenths, hundredths, thousandths. You're going to put a line, or your book says to circle that. And then you're going to look at the digit to the right of the one that is underlined or circled. Your book tells you to put an arrow to this one and drop everything else off. And then if it is 5, if this number is 5 or more, raise the score. Okay, go up 1. If it is 4 or less, let it rest. It would stay, if this were a 4 or less, this would stay an 8. But because it's more than 5, this 8 then is going to round up to 9. And then once you've rounded, everything after it becomes zeros. And really, you don't even have to have any zeros that are all at the end. By the same token, you don't have to have a 0 that is in front of the decimal place. Sometimes you'll see a number like 0.03. This one is irrelevant. You don't even need it. Now this one is very relevant because it's holding a place for you. Okay, so got a couple of examples here for you, and then we'll work some practice problems. All right, this number, let's say I told you to round this number to the nearest thousandth. All right, we're going to underline where our thousandth place is. It's right here. And then we're going to look to the right, and directly to the right of that is a 0. So 0 is obviously less than 5. So when we round this number, it would be 51.048. Everything else just goes away. So that would be rounded to the thousandths place. Okay, let's say in this one I want to round to the nearest 10,000. So I'm going to identify what number is that. Well, it would be this 4. Remember I said thousand, not thousandths. That TH is going to make a lot of difference. So I'm rounding the 4, and I look next to the one right beside it on the right. That is a 2. 2 is less than 5. So all of this is going to go away, and it's going to be 1,340,000, and I need zeros to right there. And I don't need any of this, okay? Okay, so in example 1, we have, we're going to round this number to the nearest 10,000. There's no TH on the end here, so we're looking at a whole number on the left-hand side of the decimal. All right, we've got ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. So I'm going to underline that 5 right there. It is the one that we're going to be working with, and then we're going to put an arrow to this 8. Now, I see that that 8 is more than 5, so if it's more than 5, I'm going to round up the 5. So my answer would be, that 5 is going to change to a 6. Everything else is going to be zeros, and I can stop right there because that's the end of the whole number. Example 2 says round this to the nearest thousandth. All right, this has a TH. So we're on the right-hand side of the decimal. You've got tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So this 2 is the one in the place that I'm going to be working with. And I'm going to look at the next number to the right, which is the 4. And I'm going to, in this case, I'm going to leave this a 2 because 4 is not enough to round up. So 0, 6, 2, and then everything else goes away. In example 3, we're going to round to the nearest 100 millionth. Notice that TH, so let's start counting. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths, 100,000ths, millionths, 10 millionths, 100 millionths. So that's where we're going to underline this 8. And we're going to put an arrow at the 5. We can see that's a 5, so we're going to round the 8 up to a 9, and then we will be finished. And that's it. Let's look at example 4. It says round this number to 5 decimal places. So what that means is 5 numbers after the decimal. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This first 6 is the one that I'm going to be rounding, and then I'm going to look here to this number. So when I round, I'm going to have 2.0031, and because this is more than 5, I'm going to round this 6 up to a 7, and then I am finished. I don't need to put zeros on the end. That I can leave it right there. Example 5 has 4 parts. It deals with the same number. And notice that this, the last 3 digits here have that line over top, and you remember that that means those 3 repeat. Alright, so A says that round this to 5 decimal places. If these repeat, 3, 6, and 4, then it would be 314.0364364. Okay, so I've got to go 5 places after the decimal. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's this 3. And I have to go one more because I have to look to see what it is. So obviously that's a 6. I'm going to round up. So it would be 314.036, sorry, 44. And you can see I have 5 digits after the decimal. Alright, B says to go 9 decimal places. Alright, then that would be 314.0364364, and I'll do it one more time, 364. Alright, 9 places would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the 6 is going to be the one that I'm trying to determine, and I'm going to look to the 4 to see what to do. That looks really sloppy, doesn't it? So when I round, the number after 6 is 4, so I'm going to leave that as 6. I'm not going to round it up to a 7. So 314.0364364, 36436, and there I have 9 decimals. Alright, C says to the nearest 100th. Alright, what is in the 100th place? We have tenths, hundredths. Okay, so the 3 would be the one and that we would round. And we look to the 6 to see what to do. So that 3 is going to become a 4, isn't it? So we have 314.04. And then the nearest 10. Alright, what number is in the tens place? Not tenths, but tens. The 1. And what's after the 1? A 4. So it's going to stay 1. So the nearest 10 would be 310. Now, you notice I did have to put that there because that is every place counts in front of the decimal. Alright, so let's do your practice problems. A says round this number to the nearest 10,000. Alright. That there's no TH, so we look to ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. So the 4 is the one I'm going to be working on, and I look to the right, and that's a 2. So I'm going to round it by doing 59,740,000. Everything after this number is going to become a 0. 740,000. And then nothing after the decimal. B says round to the nearest 10,000th. There's that TH. So we've got tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths. So the 3 is the 1. We're going to look right, and that's a 4. So that 3 is going to stay a 3. So our answer then would be 513 and 1, 2, 9, 3, 1,293 10,000ths. Alright, and C says round to 6 decimal places. So I've got 63.0149, and 149 repeats. So I'm just going to go ahead and write it out again. Alright, 6 decimal places would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 4 is the one that is going to stay or go up, and I have to look to the right to know what to do. So it's going to be, that 4 is going to become a 5. 0, 1, 4, 9, 1, 5 is our final answer. Alright, like I said, most of this is review, or all of this actually is review. Just be careful and make sure whether there's a TH on the end or not. That means you're on the right hand side of the decimal. If there is no TH, you're on the left hand side of the decimal. Alright, see you next time for lesson 101.